Hello, welcome parents, friends, guardians, and guests. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our first straight to the point parent engagement webinar. My name is Lydia Barnhart. I am the Director of Admissions here at Emporia State University, and it is my purpose to help you and your students navigate the complex and confusing admissions and enrollment process here at Emporia State University. In order to do that, I wanted to get together some of my friends and colleagues at the university that have some very timely information for you and important steps in your future Hornet student process. And we're going to get straight to the point tonight and talking about financial aid and scholarships. When will you hear about your students award and how will you prepare for your students entry into Emporia State? We're going to talk about residential life in our beautiful residence halls on campus, how to submit those housing contracts, when your students need to declare a roommate, when move-in will be, and all of those other questions. We're going to visit with the Student Advising Center to talk about enrollment. How will your students get in the right classes? Who will their academic advisor be? And how are we going to set your students up for success here at ESU? And then we're also going to visit with our Center for Student Involvement to talk about e-experience, orientation. What will your student look forward to throughout their summer to keep them engaged and keep up their excitement about starting ESU in the fall? So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our very special guests that are on the call with us tonight. First up, we have Jamie Morris.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm going to start off by talking about one of our hottest topics at the moment, and that is the Fafsa. And when you and your student can expect to hear from us about what kind of financial aid they will be offered for the upcoming year. So when we send out those original notices, when we get the Fafsa, we had been informing students that we estimated the time frame to be around the end of February. We based that off of knowing about the timeline, the time frame that Congress has passed their budget for from past years. So what we know now is that Congress has passed 3 continuing resolutions, the third of which is supposed to expire at the end of this week. So we are hopeful that they will pass that budget so that we can put those offers together and make sure that you get the information and accurate information for your student, so you'll know what you have available for the upcoming school year. So a couple other things about the FAFSA. It opens up on October 1st of every year. We encourage everyone to complete that as quickly as soon as possible when it opens up. We'd also like to let you know that the FAFSA is 2 tax years behind. So obviously we know a lot of things have happened in the past couple of years. So your FAFSA might not reflect your current financial situation. We do have a process called professional judgment that parent or student can request. Basically what that does is allow us to review your FAFSA, the income, the financial data on your FAFSA, the composition of the household, things like that, to see if we can update it and potentially make the student eligible for additional funding. So we'll provide the information, the links for that request. Just know that that's available and open now, and even if something were to change within the school year, you'll feel free to reach out to our office and request that review. With that said, also we understand that your information is on the FAFSA, but in order for us to be able to discuss your student's FAFSA information with you, that student will have to provide what's called proxy access. That proxy access will give us permission to discuss the information on that student's FAFSA with you. So that's a FERPA regulation, it's a privacy law that we have to follow. If we don't have that student's permission, we won't be able to discuss their FAFSA information with you. So our next hot topic, we hear a lot about scholarships. So we do have a scholarship portal. We call it on our website a scholarship library that students can log into using their ESU username and password. They get into there. It's a very simple interface. They'll see just a few links. They'll be able to see tasks that they need to complete, such as completing scholarship applications that might be open for them. They'll be able to see if they have any scholarship offers out there that they need to accept. I would recommend that the students visit that portal at least every couple of weeks. Recommend completing the general scholarship application in there because it helps to link students to scholarships that they might be eligible for. And then thirdly, with that, I would, as I said, to log in every couple of weeks to see what new opportunities might be available to the students. So we'll also provide information that will get you to that scholarship library. And with that, I will pass it back to Lydia.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jamie. Appreciate that information and getting us straight to the point on a very important topic that many of our parents and students have lots of anxiety and confusion about. I do want to take this time to bring your attention back to our emporia.edu/live page, as we do have a Microsoft Teams form available for parents to use as a chat feature. Tonight is about you and getting the questions and answers that you need. So please feel free to use that simple form to drop your questions on anything that some of our speakers and presenters have tonight. At the end of our presentation, we will collect some of those really important questions and get those answered over the live chat feature or over our session tonight. And if we're not able to answer a question for you, we will be sure to follow up on an individual basis and get you that information that you're looking for. So again, you can find that questionnaire for our chat feature at emporia.edu/live and the gold button that says Ask a Question. With that being said, Jamie, I do have another question for you before we move on to one of our other speakers.
Okay.
So, Jamie, what does the actual FAFSA stand for? What do those letters mean? And help us understand, make some sense of those syllables that you're saying.
The FAFSA, those letters stand for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So yeah, be careful about that. Don't ever let anyone trick you into paying to fill out that application. It's completely free.
Wonderful, Jamie. Thanks so much for that. Parents, again, feel free to ask your questions in the chat if you would like Jamie to come back on the end and talk a little bit more in detail. With that being said, I would love to introduce our next speaker for the evening. Cass, are you with us?
I'm here.
Fantastic. Cass, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your exciting world?
Sure. So good evening, everybody. And as you'll probably hear many times from us tonight, thank you for joining us. It really means a lot to get some of the information early on. It'll make your transition in the fall much smoother, much easier, and just have a better overall experience. So my purpose at the university is the overall program effectiveness for our campus housing. And so that goes from custodial maintenance, making sure our buildings are operating well and clean and ready for you, to the programs and events, the staff that support our students and residents, the overall process from housing application and getting that open and completed, to your assignment, to move in, to your time with us in the residence halls. So that is my purpose. And that's a purpose that is near and dear to my heart, because my residential experience and living in the residence halls had a major impact on my success as a college student, as a first generation college student. And so the career path that I've chosen is just one of the ways that I try to pay forward all that's been given to me. So a few things to know. Lydia mentioned about timely. And so some of you may be already aware or been on campus and toured our halls. Maybe you've come to our Res Life Showcase or are planning to come to it. We have 4 different residence hall options. All of our halls are very traditional style. We do not have apartment style or the suite style that you maybe have seen at other institutions. Most of our students will live in a double room with one other roommate. We do have a few private rooms, and we do have a few suite styles. All that information is available on our website. It also is available in the housing application, which I'll talk about later in my time with you tonight. So a quick overview of our residence halls. Towers Complex consists of 4 different buildings that students can prefer: North Tower, South Tower, Singular, and Trustler. About 600 of our students will live in those 4 buildings. We also have Schallenkamp Hall, which will accommodate about 300 residents. It's right by the Memorial Union, right as you come onto campus from the south. And then Abigail Morse is our oldest residence hall, but also our newest. It was the most recently remodeled, full remodel, just opened in fall of 2020. It is in the middle of our campus, right on Wooster. It's very popular with our upper class students. So we are currently doing our upper class selection process, and we anticipate that many of them will select it. A few things about our halls. We have what's called included laundry. So you can leave your bags and buckets of quarters at home. Students can go in and launder their clothes. You just need to provide the dirty clothes and whatever you use to launder. So detergent, dryer sheets, fabric softener, whatever you like. We do have great internet connectivity in all of our residence halls. We take care of all the utilities. You don't have to worry about monthly gas bills or internet bills. So it really is a very convenient way to focus on your studies, focus on getting involved, and know that you're going to have a safe, comfortable place to go back to, friends and community that will support you in your studies at ESU. Very closely connected to our residence halls are our meal plans. Again, I'll talk about the housing app here in just a second. For new incoming freshmen, there are 2 different meal plan options. They have the same price. One is what we call the all access. And so that means that you can swipe into our Hornet's Nest as many times as you want in a week, eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, between breakfast and lunch. You also get some flex dollars, dining dollars with that you can use at Starbucks or HX or other venues on campus. So that is a really good option for students that know, like, I need my 3-4 square meals a day, and I'm going to be here a lot, Monday, Sunday through Saturday. And it's been a very popular option with our students. The other is a block plan where you get a certain number of swipes per week. Generally, that's about 15 swipes a week, so about 3 meals a day. But you also get a lot more flex dollars. So if you're going to do more Starbucks or more HX, the breakdown of those 2 plans is in the housing application and on our website. And so I really defer to those details as you make that decision of which plan might work best for you. You can change between plans if you get to campus and you realize that the plan you've selected does not fit your class schedule or your dining needs or preferences now. So know that you're not 100% locked in. You do have some ability to change once the semester begins. Housing application. So I've mentioned this a few times. Some of you or many of you have already gone in and either started or fully finished the housing application. The key things I want to highlight there for today: May 1st, have in your mind that you want to have your housing contract, housing application complete by May 1st. That gives you the best opportunity to get your preferences met in terms of the building room type that you prefer, the roommates, as you get to meet other people or you create a roommate profile. It's going to give you the best chance to get assigned with your roommates. So May 1st, May 1st, May 1st. Get it complete before then. It's 3 parts to complete. You'll finish out all the housing application questions, where you want to live, which meal plan you want, who do you want your roommate to be, lifestyle preferences. You also make a $200 prepayment. If that is an issue or a concern, you can contact our office and we can walk you through, or it's a very simple waiver process, but it is a true prepayment. $100 of that prepayment will go towards your housing charges and $100 will go towards your meal plan. So it's not a damage deposit. It's not an administrative fee. It really is a prepayment that will go towards your charges in the fall semester. And then the final piece is meningitis compliance. The state of Kansas requires all students, all residents of residence halls in the state of Kansas to be meningitis compliant. Most of our students, the vast majority will have the meningitis vaccination to satisfy that. You will submit that when you submit your other vaccination records to our student health services. So those are the three things. You get all those complete before May 1st, you're in great shape. Shortly after June 1st, we will begin making assignments. And one of the categories I didn't talk a whole lot about tonight, and we will talk about down the road, are our themed floor communities, our TFCs. And so connect with ResLife, look on the housing application, get more information about those. A couple more things: living on campus, living off campus. Some of you maybe have already made that decision. You're 100% living on campus, you're 100% living off campus. Great. Glad there's a lot of different factors that students and families need to take into consideration. Personal story is the way that I like to share this. Where I went for my undergraduate, I lived a commutable distance, was kind of on the fence, didn't know if I was going to commute or live on campus. I ended up living on campus all 4 years. I've made relationships that have lasted me my entire life. Those friends and those floor mates and roommates really helped me to succeed. Finished 2 majors, 2 minors, 4 years. It was a life-changing experience. But for those that are commuting, we do have a first-year live-on requirement. And so if you don't complete the housing application, if you're not going to live on campus, you do need to request an exemption from our live-on requirement. You do that in the same place that you complete the housing app. You'll just select exemption request instead of complete housing application. Final piece, police and safety is another campus department that we partner with. Parking is one of the offices that's in their area. We allow all of our students who live in the residence halls to bring a vehicle to campus if they want or if they have one. Parking passes go through our parking department on campus. Police and safety is a great resource. If you do have a vehicle, they can help you get a jump start or if you lock yourself out. So make sure you have that number programmed in your phone at 620-341-5337. They're a great resource for you. And I think, Lydia, I'm ready to see if there's any questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cass. I appreciate all that helpful information. I do just want to make one more date crystal clear as we're getting straight to the point tonight. Cass, when do our students need to have those housing contracts completed?
Yeah, so the main date is May 1st. That's when we really encourage students to have their housing applications 100% complete. If May 1st is not achievable, then June 1st should be the date that you have everything complete.
Okay, you heard it here, parents. I hope you've got your calendars open and ready, marking some dates in there. May 1st is when we would love to have those housing applications fully submitted. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the Office of Admissions or Residential Life. Cass, I think I'm pointing the wrong way. There we go. To help with some of those applications and get those connected for you. That may be a great spring break project for you and your students. If spring break is coming up quickly and you need to keep your students engaged or get them off the couch for a minute, they can submit their housing contract. Cass, thanks so much for that information. There are no questions at this time in the chat for you. However, I'll keep an eye out on those chats rolling in, maybe bring you back at the end. Now, parents, guardians, guests, and friends, I do want to do a quick plug here. Our residence halls are some of the most amazing spaces on campus. They're nicer than the home that I live in currently, and a whole lot nicer than the residence halls I lived in when I was a student. I strongly encourage you to come to campus for some type of visit so that you can see those. And in fact, we want to showcase our residents so much that we have designed a brand new event called our Residence Life Showcase. It is happening on Monday, April 4th. Check-in will be around, I think, 11 o'clock-ish, and then you'll be off campus by 3, but you're going to get to see all 4 residence halls while on campus. You're going to get to see how the details that we put into some of our residence halls to make sure our students are successful, all the way to what way is this window facing, what sunlight is this capturing, and what does that sunlight feel, and what is that essence that it brings to this space. Is it a harsh light? Is it a warm light? Is this a study space? Is this an entertainment space? It's absolutely incredible, and I hope to show you our incredible spaces. So again, that event is Monday, April 4th. You can register for that event by visiting emporia.edu/visit. All right, now that we've gotten that question out of the way, I would love to introduce our next guest. Kathy, are you with us tonight?
I am, thank you.
Fantastic. Kathy, we already have questions about how our students will enroll and get in that right class. So it is your time to get us straight to the point and talk about enrollment.
All right, perfect, thank you. My name is Kathy Landwehr. I am the director in the Student Advising Center at Emporia State. My purpose is to ensure that your student has access to all the resources that they will need in order to be successful, while also trying to help keep them on track to graduate on time. The Student Advising Center is set up to enroll and work with all incoming freshmen. So if you're an incoming student or you have a student that's a freshman coming into ESU, they will work with the Advising Center here in Plum Hall. It's centrally located, it's easy to find. We like to call our office the go-to place. That doesn't mean we know everything, but if you've been on campus or you've toured campus, or if you plan to do that, you will see that you do not need buses to get to one end from the other of campus. It's totally walkable. But when your student moves in and they realize they maybe have a question, campus can look really big really fast. Where do I go? Who do I ask? What happens? That's where the go-to comes in. If your student's not sure where to go, encourage them to go to the Advising Center. Go to your advisor. We will either help them with the answer. If we know it, we'll give them the answer. Otherwise, we will ensure that your student gets to the proper place to get the proper answer for anything that they have. We work with all incoming freshmen. Once the students have hit 30 credit hours, which is going to be about sophomore year, their GPA looks good, and they are progressing towards their major, then they get transferred to their major department for advising. So I like to think of us as kind of the bridge from high school. We're helping them learn how to do college, getting them the resources they need, helping them with time management, study skills, as well as looking at those careers, the major paths they take to get to those careers, and then looking at the classes to ensure that they're enrolled correctly each semester. If your student has already decided Emporia is the place they want to go, first step is to apply. They get admitted, and then they get to sign up for what's called a Hornet Connection. Hornet Connection is where your students become a true Hornet. So that day, there's several dates on the calendar. The first one is March 29th, so that's not very far away. They start March 29th and they go through July. They pick the date they want to attend, and that day they get a lot of information. They talk to financial aid, they talk to Res Life again, they get information about scholarships, they can take their photo for their Hornet ID card, their student ID. The best part for me of that day is when we get to meet with your student. So we actually enroll them in classes that day. So we sat down, it's a quick appointment, but we sat down, we get them enrolled in their classes, pick the times that they want to enroll, the dates, everything that they need, so that when they leave their Hornet Connection, they are a true Hornet. They have their class schedule with them. They know exactly what it's going to look like when classes start in the fall. We are also here to help them with any questions throughout the summer. So if they get home and they think, gosh, I don't know if I wanted that class, or maybe there's something else I want to take, they are welcome to meet with us. We are here all summer. If you're in town, happy to meet with them face to face. If you're not in town, we do a lot of Zoom, phone calls, emailing, texting, whatever works, so that we can help ensure that when they get to campus, they're as comfortable as they can be with the start of this new chapter of their life. Transfer credits is another thing. A lot of students anymore take college credit while in high school. We are happy to look at that credit with your student to let them know how that's going to transfer into Emporia State. So if they've got transfer credits, they can send an unofficial transcript, meaning if they're still in classes right now that won't end till May, it would be unofficial because the final grades from this semester wouldn't be on it yet. But we could look at those courses and then tell the student how they're going to transfer here to Emporia State. And then obviously once the final grades are posted, they would have to send that official transcript with final grades as well. But we are happy to help through any of the process, even if you're still in college or thinking of transferring to Emporia State, we're happy to help students with that. Lydia, anything else coming in?
Fantastic. Questions are rolling in. Thanks, Kathy. So a couple of things we would love to know a little bit more about. When does a student receive an academic advisor?
At Hornet Connection. So you'll get assigned officially your academic advisor. In the advising center, we have an advising team and we break up based on majors. So each advisor works specifically with different majors. So they're kind of the go-to person. They know all the ins and outs of those majors. You may or may not meet with that advisor on Hornet Connection. It depends. We have a lot of students on Hornet Connection, so we have some help sometimes. But after enrollment, if you want to swing by the office and meet with your advisor, happy to do that. As soon as you leave Hornet Connection, you will get an email from your advisor, so you have that contact initially.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kathy. Now, we are also getting some chats because it seems like we have parents of some transfer students on the call with us. Can you talk a little bit about how that advising experience looks for our transfer students and when our transfer Hornet connections are?
Sure. We have different ways to do transfer student enrollment. Transfer students will work with the departments. So usually that's a faculty advisor. Some departments, School of Business, Elementary Education, and Health and Human Performance, they have professional advisors. So they're not faculty members. They're there on contact track 12 months out of the year. Other departments will do faculty advising. So your students will work with the faculty. There are 2 different dates for transfer Hornet Connections. Oh, Lydia, you might have to help me out. April 19th. April 19th and May
17th.
17th. Thank you. Save the day. April 19th, May 17th. Those are set aside specifically for Hornet Connections for transfer student days. So those are, you're not going to get as much information as far as what's a credit hour, because as a transfer student, you know what a credit hour is. So you'll get the same service as far as getting enrolled in classes, getting your ID, getting all the information you need on those days as well.
Fantastic. Kathy, as a transfer student myself, I absolutely love that we can differentiate that experience and get our transfer students even more connected with our academic departments, as many of their time at ESU is short and condensed. And so we want to get the most out of their experience as possible. So thanks so much for sharing some love on our transfer student populations. Now I'm going to ask you one more question, and Kath, I may need your help with this question too, but as I know, Kathy serves as our advisor for our first generation student organization. There's a question that came in that asked, can first gen students move in early?
Ooh, that is a good question.
So I'm going to say my answer to that is maybe. So here's why I say that. I believe that there is a department on campus that is working for the fall semester to do almost like a bridge program where they're taking a select group of students. They have to be either first gen, there's some different qualifications, a set number, and they actually get to move in a little bit early, but they have to be a part of this program to do that. I don't know if they've named the program. I can check into that. Nick is in charge of that. But it is a great way to really start building that foundation. They'll take different classes. I think they're living in the res halls, and then they will also keep that room. So when classes actually start, they don't have to move again. That's the only way I know of a student, if they're following in that program, that they could move in a little early as a first gen.
Fantastic. Thanks, for that information, Kathy. And yes, our new Summer Bridge program is currently under development, but will be an exciting addition for our new students, helping them acclimate to the college campus environment and wrapping their heads around this transition that they are experiencing. Your student, if they qualify for this experience, will get information from the Office of Admissions and from the Office of Diversity here on ESU's campus. So just make sure your students checking their email address for further information about that program. I had a question in the chat that asked, what are the dates again for freshman Hornet Connection? Hornet Connections, which are our enrollment events, start on Tuesday, March 29th. Your student could actually get their classes as early as March 29th. Take advantage of that because they're going to get the pick of the litter of their classes and get those classes that they're wanting for or those times that they're wanting. So if you know they love sleeping in late and don't need an 8 a.m. class, we may want to get them to a Hornet Connection sooner rather than later so that they can get a class schedule that works best for them. You can sign up for Hornet Connections at the website that's scrolling the bottom of your screen, emporia.edu/Hornet Connection. Fantastic. We're going to continue on with some more speakers that we have tonight. And then at the end, we're going to do bring everyone back on screen and do a question and answer. So please feel free to keep those questions rolling in the chat. We see you, and we're going to get to each and every question that comes in. So I'm going to now introduce Blythe. Blythe, are you with us tonight?
I am. Thanks, Lydia.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I am Blythe Eddy. I work in the Center for Student Involvement at Emporia State, and my purpose is to get students, transfer students involved at Emporia State University, beginning with our summer overnight program, all the way through the first few days of school, when you're on campus, and all the way through your college career. There are so many reasons to be involved. Beyond the classroom, we concentrate on getting students into student organizations, to getting them involved in different groups on campus. So that is what I'm excited about, excited to share with you tonight about all the different opportunities that we have for students to get involved. The first opportunity to get new students on campus is at our summer overnight program that we have named E-Experience. E-Experience is a free 2-day overnight opportunity to meet fellow classmates, be led by current students, learn more about ESU, and even take a trek around Emporia to learn about the businesses and services that will help support you and your student throughout your time at ESU. We have plenty of activities, opportunities to meet with faculty and staff about specific services during E-Experience. Activities begin around 1 p.m. on the first day and end around 3 p.m. on the second day. So it's very doable to be able to drive the morning of and drive home on the second day to get people on campus. That's what we're really excited to do. Students will get their own ESU t-shirt, free meals, free lodging, get to stay in the residence halls, just to really get the campus experience when they come for E-Experience. You can sign up for E-Experience at Hornet Connection. And again, this is the infamous date, March 29th. It's the first time E-Experience. We do have limited space, so we encourage you to get signed up for E-Experience as soon as possible. There are 3 E-Experience sessions beginning June 25th, 26th, July 10th and 11th, and July 12th and 13th. So 3 times throughout the summer, bringing students on campus, providing lots of activities, getting to meet other students. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss it. After E-Experience, there's a little bit of time, but then we're back on campus for orientation. And orientation takes place right after students move in, prior to the start of school. We have plenty of activities where students can meet other students who are involved in student organizations, get to know the university at various events hosted by many offices on campus, including Wellness Center, Fraternity and Sorority Life, Diversity Student Programs, Student Recreation Services. So many offices, faculty, staff here to support students during their first few days on campus. From a meet and greet to a mini majors fair where you can learn about all the different majors offered at Emporia State, there will be many activities hosted by lots of people that your student will get to know while they're at Emporia State. So kind of a first time meet and greet for everyone. Involvement doesn't just end at orientation. We have a huge activities fair during Welcome Week where students can meet students who are involved in recognized student organizations. We're also hosting some fun Friday night events during the first 6 weeks of school. So there are many, many ways to get involved at ESU. And we strongly encourage you to start looking at your time at ESU, beginning at eXperience and signing up at Hornet Connection. Back to Lydia, see if there are any questions.
Thank you, Blythe. So I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. What you're telling us is that there are so many opportunities for our students, our future Hornets, to get engaged and to meet people at ESU's campus, correct?
Correct. Definitely starting with a free 2-night, two overnight experience, 2-day overnight experience for eXperience. So
it's free.
It's free.
My goodness.
As a parent myself, that rings. Definitely.
Exactly. So if you're looking for something for your students to do to get off the couch this summer, send them to Emporia State's eXperience. They can register and they'll learn more about it when they attend their Hornet Connection event date. Fantastic. This is so exciting, hearing all this information and really preparing for our incoming Hornet class. This is making my heart happy and getting me excited with so much incredible information here and getting it out to you as the parents who are such influencers in your students' decision-making process. And we're just thankful that you're here tonight and hoping that you're enjoying some of this information and that you're finding it helpful. So with all that being said, I think it's time to maybe bring back all of our guests, our speakers, and we are going to do a little bit of question and answer period here. So parents, this is your time. Send in your questions. I'm going to do my best to get a lot of these answered in the short time that we have left. So let's get started. We're going to throw it back to Jamie Morris, Director of Financial Aid, as we had a few questions come in the chat. So Jamie, how again can a prospective student access the scholarship library and how do they log in?
So access to the scholarship library should be able to find that information. I assume, Lydia, that we'll provide some links down in the informational area when this is done. So you would visit that webpage and students log in using their ESU username and password, which they receive after applying for admission to ESU.
Fantastic. Parents, if your students do not know their login information, all they need to do is give the Office of Admissions a call and we will help them with that information, maybe jog their memory or help them reset their password if they need be. Thank you, Jamie. Another question for you. We haven't been able to finish our FAFSA due to issues with our 2020 taxes. Is this going to be a barrier for getting aid to our daughter?
So without a completed FAFSA, we will not be able to create a financial aid offer for your daughter. So you can complete your FAFSA using estimates and then go back later and update that form. But just so I can be aware of maybe what your situation is and guide you a little bit better, please feel free to reach out to our office and ask for me so I can chat with you about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie. That is exactly what I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. We are each individuals. We have different circumstances and situations, and sometimes life happens. And so please know that the entire Emporia State team is here to help you and guide your students. And if you're not sure where to turn, please reach out to the Office of Admissions. Let us guide you and help you along the way and connect you with the right people that can give you the help that you're looking for. All right, a few more questions for you, Jamie. When do the financial aid offers get sent to the students?
So we're hoping that Congress will finish finalizing that budget for the upcoming year. Right now, they're saying that should be complete by the 11th, which is Friday. So that would mean within a week or two of Congress finalizing that budget, we would be ready to send out those offers. That information, any information about an incoming student's FAFSA, will go to the email address that they provided on their FAFSA. So up until the point that the student starts attending, we communicate with them through the email on the FAFSA. Once classes start, we'll flip over to their ESU email account.
Fantastic. And with that, on that financial aid offers, will scholarship awards be on there as well?
Yes. So any scholarships that information that you've already received, so you've gotten an offer for a presidential or a GPA or a transfer scholarship, will be included in your financial aid offer.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jamie. So parents, just to make it clear, your students will receive a total award package, including their scholarships, including their financial aid, and all of that information in that award letter. We're just waiting on the federal government to help set some dates for us so that we can get that information to you. Now, if your student does not know if they have received some of our general academic awards that are awarded based on information we collect on the admissions applications, please feel free to have them connect with the Office of Admissions so that we can get them that information. That's a huge part of that decision-making process, how much aid and how much is this going to cost. And now's that time where it starts getting very real and students start to understand what those numbers and values mean. So we want to make sure you have that full picture of your financial aid package. Each of your incoming students has an admissions counselor. So if you are feeling like you are on this journey alone, that you're not sure where to turn to or who can help, you have a personalized admissions counselor that should be at your beck and call almost 24/7. We do have to sleep at some times during the day, but if we're not sleeping, we're here to serve you. So you can meet with your admissions counselor on phone, via Zoom, in person if they're traveling to your area, and everything in between. So all you have to do is reach out to the Office of Admissions and we can help connect you with that go-to person to help get your questions answered. Jamie, one last question for you. How will a student know when to provide proxy access to ESU?
So that information will be provided at the Hornet Connections, but they can complete proxy access at any time. We do have those step-by-step instructions on our website. So the student can reach out to our office and we can provide those instructions to them at any point.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jamie. So parents, if you're not catching on to our recurring theme here, your student needs to register for Hornet Connection. All of your questions can get answered through our Hornet Connection process. Put you at ease. It may be an overwhelming day, but we're going to make sure it's the right kind of overwhelming and send you home with some black and gold prizes and swag to decorate your house and get your students excited. So register for Hornet Connections. The date has been scrolling at the bottom of the screen. All right, Cass, you're up next. We've got some questions for you, sir.
Awesome.
Talk to us a little bit more about that first year live-on requirement. Who is required to live on campus that first year? Who is exempt, and how does that process work?
Sure. So most of our traditional age first year freshman students will be required to live on campus. There are a few criteria. So a lot of it is driven by high school graduation date. So if you graduated from high school in December of 21, or you graduate from high school this coming May of 22, you will be required to live on campus. There are some allowances for age. There are also some allowances if students are living with an immediate family member in or near Emporia. There's a 30-mile radius from our campus, where if you're going to be residing at that address with an immediate family member, you can do that. There are a few others if students are married or if they have a dependent child. And there are some other circumstances too. But the main exemption for our students, if they are required, so if they've just graduated from high school or will graduate this May, is if they will be living with an immediate family member really near campus.
Thank you, Cass. A common question that we get from some of our students, we have a lot of eager beaver and overachieving, or not over, high achieving students out there that are completing lots of college courses while still in high school. And sometimes there's that confusion, what status does that make me, and does this exempt me from living in the residence halls? At Emporia State, living on campus is for our incoming first year student status of a freshman. And so we don't look at credit hours of our incoming freshmen. We look at that student status to really focus on setting our students up for success and getting them connected on campus with some of our incredible organizations. So if you had that question, hopefully I just answered that one for you. All right. Cass, are you required to buy a meal plan as a freshman?
Yes, any of our students who live on campus are required to have a meal plan. So when you complete the housing application, it'll give you the options that are available to you. You select the one that you prefer. And like I said earlier, once you get on campus, if you're going to the dining halls and you're like, I don't know if this one's fitting my needs, you can change amongst the other meal plans that are available. If one of the great things about our dining on campus is that our dining service provider has a registered dietitian. And so if you either have particular dietary restrictions or food allergies or just dietary preferences, the dietitian is here to help you customize and identify ways that you can get the nutrition and the foods that you need while avoiding those that you cannot consume or are allergic to. So yes, all of our students who live in the residence halls, regardless of freshman, sophomore, junior, graduate student, do need to have a meal plan. There are different options that are out there. And we also have staff with our dining services program who help you navigate your way through to make sure you're getting the nutrition you need.
Thank you, Cass. What about for our students that are living off campus, or maybe our transfer students who are not planning to live on campus? Do they have an option to purchase a meal plan?
They do have options. So there is a commuter plan, and there's a few different versions of that students who live off campus can select. Those go through our Memorial Union Card Services office. You can also add, I think they're called the declining dollars now. And those funds can be used at our different venues. So we have a Starbucks. You can go in and get your coffee, your muffin, your breakfast sandwich, your tea, whatever your Starbucks drink. I don't do any of the fancy stuff, so I'm not going to try to say a mocha frappuccino, no whip, whatever. So Starbucks, HX, which is kind of a grab and go. You can do sandwiches. They have a grill. They have a couple other simply to go options. Or in the Nest, which is our cafeteria style dining hall. So both dining dollar or the declining balance and the commuter meal plans can be used in all those venues.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, got a couple more questions around athletes living in the residence halls and how that process works. So my daughter will be running cross country and track. Will she get to move in early?
Great question. And so I'll do kind of a universal answer for many sports. So we work with our athletics department and the coaches. The MIAA, our conference, establishes when teams can report. And so that report date is what drives when student athletes can move into the residence halls. We haven't established those or communicated those dates just yet. But for student athletes, they will receive that move-in information from their coach. So they will get information from us in Residential Life that says move-in date is August 18th, move-in date is August 19th, but they will get special information from their team coach that says their early arrival date, their time, where they go. So student athletes will get that information from their coaches as we get closer to move-in.
Fantastic. And then last question for you as of right now is, What's that date again for freshman move-in?
Oh, well, so Blythe and I could team up on this one. We are still working to finalize orientation. So Blythe mentioned orientation for our new students as they arrive to campus. Move-in will either be for our new freshman students, new freshmen, will either be Thursday, August 18th or Friday, August 19th. And it will depend on what our final orientation schedule is. We don't have it currently, but we anticipate having it very, very soon.
Perfect. Thank you both. So parents, you heard it here first. We're still working on solidifying those move-in dates and orientation dates. So for those of you wanting to put those dates in your calendar right now, you can tentatively plan for Thursday, August 18th or Friday, August 19th. But don't worry, we will be blasting that out as soon as we know that information. So just make sure your students keep checking those emails, and we're going to get those dates to you very soon. So Cass, is that move-in for all students, no matter of student, let's say, status, but all students living in the residence halls will move in at the same time?
No, that's the move-in date. It'll depend again on that orientation schedule. The main group that we have for those of what we call facilitated move-in days are our new freshmen, our new transfer students. And so once we have those dates established and they complete the housing application, they're assigned, they will get that detailed information of what their move-in date is, and then they will select their time. And so students will actually get to select if they move in at 8 or 8:30 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We assign a certain number of slots for students to sign up, and that's for new freshmen and new transfer students.
Fantastic. Thank you for that information, Cass. I'm going to now pick on Blythe. We've got some questions for you. Our parents are very excited about e-experience and orientation. Can you tell us one more time, where do we find information about e-experience, what those dates are, how our students sign up, and all of that one more time?
Absolutely. The e-experience sign up is it's already on our website at Emporia State University, but the first time that you can sign up in person is at Hornet Connection, and you'd be able to Hornet Connection, you'd actually be able to visit with one of the students who is we call them e-team leaders at the Hornet Connection table for the Center for Student Involvement. So you can get it firsthand about what e-experience is like by visiting the Center for Student Involvement table at Hornet Connections. And that we will have computers right there for you to sign up for one of the 3 sessions. Again, those dates are June 25th and 26th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. And that's another thing I love about these e-experience dates is that they are spread out. So a Saturday and a Sunday, July 10th and 11th, so a Sunday, Monday, and a Tuesday, Wednesday, July 12th and 13th. So three dates: June 25, 26, July 10th and 11th, July 12th and 13th.
Fantastic. Parents and friends, guardians, and guests, I hope you got those dates listed in your calendars, or at least jotted down. Again, if you forget any of this or didn't get that date, feel free to give the Office of Admissions a call and we can get this information out to you. Now, Kathy, we referenced a student population that we didn't quite explain. Can you talk a little bit more about what does first gen mean and how do I know if I'm a first gen student?
Absolutely. We are guilty of that sometimes in higher ed, of using terms that we think make sense, but a first generation college student would be first in your family to come to college, meaning neither parent graduated from a 4-year university. So if your older sibling came, you're still first gen. It's just if neither parent graduated from a 4-year university. I'm a first-gen student. We work closely with first-gen students. If you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, that will be my student as well when they come to ESU, guess what? We currently have over 800 first-gen students on campus. So it is a large group. We do activities every single month, inviting all of campus, but focus on first-gen needs too. So it's a great opportunity to meet a lot of people and share your experiences and learn from each other.
Thank you, Kathy, for clarifying that for us. We do have a couple of questions coming in the chat on what time is Hornet Connection? Do I get to choose my time, or is the day scheduled for us? Can you remind us how that event is structured?
You have to think of Hornet Connection as an event, right? It's not a come and go in an hour. It's an event. It's so much fun, and your student is going to get to meet other students. So they have a lot of information shared that day. You're going to get all the information you need, but you also have the opportunity to sit and talk with other students. So we have what we call Hornet Connected leaders. Those are current students that are going to sit in a group of incoming students and share experiences, help with some icebreakers, getting to know one another while your student is waiting for their advisor to call them to their table to get them enrolled in classes. So it's a great way to start making friends. I love watching them. I love watching the students interact, and as they're leaving, they're sharing Snapchat names and sharing their phone numbers because they've made a friend at Emporia State, and it's amazing. So it is an event. It's not something where you come for an hour. It's more almost a day. We're done by usually 2:30ish. I think we check in around 8:30 starts, and usually around 2:30 we're done. So it is an event, but it's well worth it. The payoffs are great.
Thank you, Kathy. Now, Hornet Connections are required for all new students. We find it so important for our students to go through this very intentionally designed event to set them up for success. This is the first way that we are making sure your students are set up for academic success, which we consider in higher education graduation, so that they can go on and get that good job, get that good paying career that they love and are passionate about. And to set them up for success, we've designed a very intentional program to connect students with their advisor, to register for classes, and to get those next steps. Now, there's a lot of steps your students will need to do that we are not talking about tonight, and you will find out those next steps whenever you attend a Hornet Connection. So those are required events for all new incoming students. We have 2 specific dates for transfer students and multiple dates for our incoming freshmen non-traditional students. If for some reason you are not able to make one of those dates, let the Office of Admissions know, and we will work with you on what needs to be done. However, those in-person event days for Hornet Connection are absolutely incredible days that students get to meet other students, maybe even meet their future roommate. That's a great time for someone that's looking to meet other new students coming to Emporia State. Come to a Hornet Connection, and your student is going to meet another student that they're going to click with, connect with, and start really becoming a future Hornet. Let's see. So those are scheduled event days. Times are on the website. All you need to do is register for Hornet Connection at emporia.edu/Hornet Connection. Again, that's emporia.edu/Hornet Connection. I feel like I'm now one of those info marketers on a TV screen, so I'm living out a dream here. But again, emporia.edu/Hornet Connection. So important to set your students on the right track and get them enrolled in classes as early as possible. Cass, I've got 2 questions before we end tonight. How do students choose a roommate?
Oh, how do students choose a roommate? So there's a few different, we'll talk about kind of the mechanical aspects. So in the housing application, our students can explore roommates a few different ways, or get assigned a roommate a few different ways. The first one is if you know somebody who's coming to ESU. So high school classmate, sibling, cousin, somebody you go to summer camp with, and you know you really want to live with that person. You can form a roommate group, invite that person, and say, my name's Cass Coughlin, I want to live with John Smith, and boom, you're roommates. The other way is you can create a profile. So I might go in and create a profile that says, I love sports, I love to read, I like the journal, I like going out for hikes and fishing, golf, whatever my interests or passions whatever I might think a roommate needs to know about me. And then I can make that public so that other people can see it. Our housing system will identify if you try that route for finding a roommate. They'll recommend maybe Kathy's a good roommate, or Jamie, or Lydia, and you can look at their profiles and see if you think that you agree with the match or possibility, and reach out and connect with that person. Maybe come to a new experience. Maybe they're at Hornet Connection with you. And so you could use that roommate profile option. The final option is what the residents or students like to call potluck, where we have some basic lifestyle preferences in terms of, do you go to bed early? Do you get up early? Do you keep your room neat? And we will make an assignment based upon students having similar neatness scores and similar going to bed scores, getting up scores, how you feel about guests in the room. So those are the three options that are available. We also will see students get to know each other through Hornet Connections. I will point out that that is where that June 1st deadline really is important, because once we get to June 1st, then we start making assignments. And so we cannot accommodate specific roommate requests or roommate group requests after June 1st.
Perfect. Thanks, Cass. So just a reminder, parents, May 1st is that priority date to get those housing contracts completed. June 1st is that hard date that Residential Life will use in room selection. Now, Cass, are rooms first come, first serve? How are rooms selected?
Sure. We are not first come, first serve. And so that's where the May 1st deadline comes in handy. So everybody, all of our new incoming students who have their housing application complete on or before May 1st go into kind of our first lottery electronic bingo ball shuffle. And so if you have everything in and complete before May 1st, you will get put into priority based upon that. And then we will continue to add students who complete between May 1st and June 1st into that. Now, an important distinction. You can go in and make housing contract changes between May 1st and June 1st. So if I find a roommate that I want to live with on May 10th, you can make that change and it doesn't affect your priority. And so that's why we really encourage students as much as possible to get their housing application, prepayment, meningitis compliance before May 1st, but know that you can still go in and make changes. You can prefer a different hall or room type. So once it's complete, you can still make changes up till June 1st.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that information, Cass. It sounds like all of our questions have been answered in some form or fashion tonight. Thank you so much all for participating. Please know that we want this to be the start of the conversation, and we do not want you sitting out there with other questions that are not getting answered. There's lots of ways that we can connect and help you with this overall experience. One, your student has a personalized admissions counselor that is here for you almost 24/7. If you would like to get connected with your admissions counselor to ask any of these questions to, please give us the Office of Admissions a call, an email. You have my email address. Love to get you connected with our admissions counselors that can help personalize this experience for you. Two, as you have seen tonight, there's lots of things for you to be doing right now. Completing the FAFSA, completing our general scholarship application, completing the housing contract, and most importantly, enrolling for Hornet Connection. We can't stress that enough, because we know that your student's going to get everything that they possibly need to be successful once they enroll for that event. So you can register again for Hornet Connections at emporia.edu/Hornet Connection. First date is March 29th, several dates in April, several dates in May. So before your student graduates or finishes the semester, they could actually be enrolled in ESU classes and begin their summer break free at ease and having done everything they need to do. Lastly, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I cannot tell you how fun this has been for us to be able to connect with you as parents, guests, guardians, and friends. but also informational. And we hope that you felt as though we got straight to the point and answered everything that you need to know. So that being said, don't forget to look up our incoming events. If you haven't visited campus, please come see us and let us show you how we're going to take care of your future Hornet. Yeah, lost my train of thought there because I just got so passionate about helping our students and getting them on campus. So thank you all so very much. We'll have another Straight to the Point webinar over the lunch hour, April 19th. So watch your email for more information. Thank you all so much and have a good evening. Remember, stingers up.